Hello Stampers, my name is Linda Bettinger and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Denver, Colorado. And today I have another Valentine project for you. This time I'm using the Heart to Heart bundle, and this is a very fun little card. And let's just get started. Okay, here is my project for today, and it is just a simple Happy Valentine's card, and I'm using real red cardstock. My base is the normal base, 8.5 by 5.5, scored and folded at 4 1/4. And then I have two Whisper White layering pieces. One of these doesn't look right. Two Whisper White layering pieces that are 4 by 5 1/4. And then I have a large piece of real red so I can cut my heart out. And then I'm using some of the Designer Series paper, this beautiful foiled paper from the other heart bundle, and right now the name escapes me, but I'll put it on the video for you. And you don't need a very big piece of this. I used kind of a strip, and what I'm using is the Heart to Heart stamp set, and out of this I'm using the Happy Valentine's Day, and I'm using Wishing You Love and Laughter Forever After, and I'm using this little heart with little leaves around it at the bottom. And then this is the detailed heart die. And so this big die, that's why you need such a big piece of red scrap, because this is literally, I don't know what this piece is. This is almost 1/4 of a page. It's about 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. And this piece goes on here and gets run through your machine. And then what you get out, let me show you here. It's a little on the fiddly side just because there's so many little pieces, but here is the one that I cut out, and I just wanted to show you right from the get-go. I've got lots of little hearts here. And then you need another piece of scrap white for your sentiment on the outside. The inside of the card has those 4 little hearts and Wishing You Love and Laughter Forever After, and some red ribbon to tie in the front of the card. And again, pretty simple. So let's see. What we have here is the die as it's cut out, and I wanted to show you what it takes to get all of the pieces out of this. They come out actually pretty easily. I ran this through just once coming and once going. And what I found was that it was easiest to tear this and then keep pulling out your pieces, because it's real easy for things to get tangled up. So as soon as I'm sure I'm at an end where I'm not going to hurt anything, I tear off a piece, and see, it's gotten all tangled again. But there, I can pull that whole piece off then. Then coming around this way, again, you get the idea. And again down here, tear that piece off, and you see you get lots and lots and lots of little hearts. And this one might be kind of fun. I don't know how annoyed your friends would get if you send them a card that had lots of little hearts inside that fell out when you opened the card. But you could definitely do that with this one, because you have tons of hearts. Now the other thing, of course, is to keep some of those hearts in a little envelope and use them for something else. So we've got tons of hearts to punch out here, but they come right out. It's just a matter, in fact, I'd have probably been smart to use my die brush on this, on my Take-A-Pick tool or my old die brush. It doesn't take much to get the hearts to come out. They come right out. And I didn't do detailed cutting or anything, just once back and forth on my Big Shot. Okay, so there we go. And I'm going to speed up the video a little bit when I start putting the other hearts inside, because that is a little tedious and takes some time. So let me get these last couple of hearts out of here. And I think that is, there we go. I think that might be the, no, of course, there's one more. There we go. So that is the die. Now I'm left with all of these hearts. Now I also push through a piece of that pattern paper, so I have some of these hearts that have the foil on them, and I'm going to use those to inset into some of these hearts. Just when I think I've gotten them all, I see a couple more here. So, all right. So there we go. I think I've got all of those out, and I'm going to push these all off to the side because we don't need them for the moment. Let me get all of that fuzz off of there. I don't want any of that stuff on my card. Okay. And so then what I'm going to do is take one of these 4 by 5 1/4 pieces, and I'm going to use my silicone mat. And I know people do lots of elaborate things, Tombow glue and sponge on here. I find that to be, frankly, quite messy, and I end up with glue on the front no matter what I do. So I use a dot runner. And what I want to make sure I get covered are these ends that are loose, because those are more likely to poke their heads up. The pieces that are bigger and attached to other large pieces stay together pretty well, but if your piece is loose, you want to make sure you get some glue on it. And I find that, quite honestly, using this dot runner seems to make all the difference in the world. Now, somebody asked me the other day why I use the silicone mat, because glue won't stick to your silicone mat, and so it helps keep your workspace from getting all gunked up, and you know exactly what I mean. You end up with glue bits on everything. All right, so what I found is that this fits with a little tiny margin at the top and the bottom, and so if I can get this top started so that it's got a tiny margin at the top, and this outside heart and this outside heart fit on my card front, then the rest of this lays into place. And I just worked my way down the hearts so I could reposition as I go. And see, here's some hearts that are at loose ends that don't have any glue on them. So all I'm going to do is pick those up and put a little bit of glue on those hearts and stick them back down. There we go. And I thought I'd cut all of those, but you never know. So there we go. There's all of my hearts just about stuck down to the front of my card. And you can fuss with this a little bit. And also, if you use the dot runner and you really hate the placement, you can pick these back up again. It's fairly pliable and removable for a little while anyway. And there we go. Now, one of the things that happens as a result of this is sometimes you get that little, I call it beard fuzz on some of those die cuts. And if you get a bunch, sometimes if you use an eraser, you can come in and take those off. And sometimes I find that just sweeping them off. Now, I've seen, who is it, Jan B, I think, out of the UK, has used a soft toothbrush and a wire brush, a stiffer wire brush for some of that kind of stuff. But I found that I've gotten mine off mostly pretty well with just a little stiff eraser. If I had a real big problem, I would probably go the toothbrush route, because I think that would get most everything off. Okay, there we go. All right. Now then, I've also cut, and I'm just going to bring the mass of them over, I think is the smartest thing to do, is I've got a bunch of these little foil hearts. Actually, what I think I'll be using is my pick tool, because I find that I can pick them up pretty easily with this, which is a godsend when you've got this many little hearts laying on your desk. Okay, so I have all of my little foil hearts collected here. And what I've done is I took some, let's see, a package, one of my mini dimensionals, and I cut up the middle of a couple of them because I wanted a few of them raised. So here is a nice big giant one, and that will probably go over one of these hearts that is the largest of the hearts here. Maybe I'll put this one kind of up here. And what I did was I took one of these half a mini dimensionals and put it on the back of my heart and removed the release paper and put that into place right over one of the largest hearts. Then a lot of these other hearts, what I used was my Tombow glue, and I put a little bit of glue. That's probably a little too much. There, doesn't take very much at all. Just a little bit of the Tombow glue, and then found a heart that would fit inside that particular one, and then between the Tombow glue and my pick tool, put that into place. And so I picked a couple of those around here and picked up those small hearts and put them in place. And then on some of these that are the larger hearts, you kind of have to fit them to see which ones can go where. But just a little dollop of glue and then putting the heart in place inside. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. And so I've just put the hearts down, and I really only raised one, but that's fine. There's so much going on that it gives the illusion of raised dimension. All right, so now on the back of this, I did raise this whole panel. So then I put on some full-size dimensionals. Okay, this piece is ready to go down on my card front, and I'm just going to set this down so that it has a similar margin all the way around. And I see one more place that I want to stick a heart. Now then, I have a piece of scrap that I measured out for doing my sentiment, and I've apparently eaten it. There it is. Okay, I'm going to set these aside, and I did cut out one of these little hearts that was just the outline, and I thought that was kind of a cute look on the front of this to put that and a much smaller one on the inside. So I'm going to set that one up there and then set aside one of these little tiny ones to go inside of it. And the rest of these I'm just going to push off to the side because I don't think we'll need any more of those. Now, I have my Happy Valentine's Day, and it's quite a large stamp. So I've got my Pierce mat here, and I've got my Real Red ink. I tried it in Flirty Flamingo, and I did not like the way it looked. It was just too faded for the boldness of all of the red, and there wasn't enough Flirty Flamingo on this to pick up. So I'm going to set this down here on the bottom in the center. Get my Happy Valentine's Day. There we go. And then I'm going to use my cute little mini trimmer here. No, I still need the ink. I'm going to move it out of the way so I don't put my fist in it. Okay, so on this, what I'm going to do is just cut this off so that it has a similar margin. Now let's see what I've got. That looks pretty good. Now I need to trim the bottom. There we go. All right, so I think it ends up being just slightly less than an inch, but that's pretty good. All right, and I'm going to need to take off just a tiny bit from this end. Okay, there we go. All right, now after all of that fiddling, I think it's centered and about the size I want it. Now I'm just going to flag the ends of this sentiment by cutting up the middle. Oh, and I don't know, I cut up maybe 1/4 of an inch and then cut from side to side. Some people use the triple banner punch to get the same kind of an effect, and that certainly works. But this does also, and it's pretty handy. Okay, so there we go. I've got my ends flagged there, and what I did was I used my Real Red ribbon that is this beautiful double-stitched ribbon that is in one of these bundles, and I took a pretty good length of it, enough to do that kind of a treatment to go on my card about like that. And let me cut this and then I can tell you what the length is. So I cut this to be, it looks like just a little over 14 inches. 14 inches will probably do. And what I did was I wanted this to circle around and have the double loop kind of treatment here with the tails coming off the opposite ends, and something like that here. And so in order to do that, I want to first cut my ends. Get my ribbon scissors here. Cut my ends so that they have a pretty nice angle on them. There we go. All right. And then I think I want this like here. So I am going to put some glue on the back side, right kind of in the middle, as that would lay down on the card. So if I want this up about an inch from the bottom, angled slightly over to the fold, then back down this way. So I'm going to need some glue from about here. Should be using my silicone mat for that. But again, down about an inch from the top, making a little loop there, and then back up so that this tail comes out on the other end and up about an inch. So I'm going to need some glue right across here. Where's my silicone mat? Now for sure I need it. And get a little bit of glue right there. All right. Now my loop came this way. So this one I want to go this way. So I'll make my little loop at the bottom and bring that up so that it's close to the tail of this one. Get my loop on the bottom here, making that shape I want, and then up here. There, I'm happy with the shape of that more than anything. Add a little glue right there. And then this I can always trim down to do that. There we go. Now then, this piece I'm going to put up on some full-size dimensionals, just 3 across the back I think will be plenty. Now then, my Happy Valentine's Day can go right here on my card in the middle. So I'm going to set that to go all the way across my card. Now I saved a couple of these heart. Uh-oh, there it is. I wanted this one to go on my banner, so I just need to add a little bit of glue to the back of it and put that into place like right there. And then I have a little tiny heart that I want to put in the middle of that. There we go. All right. And then I wanted one more little foil heart to go on this side. And for that, I can just add some snail and get that put into place. There we go. Happy Valentine's Day. I think that's very pretty. All right. So next, on the inside of the card, what I put was this. So I have my stamps mounted here. I have my little heart, and I'm going to put one on this side. I just realized I'm doing this without my Pierce mat. One on that side. And then one sort of right above that, and another one next to it. There we go. Now a little piece of ribbon across the bottom. That's going to be plenty. And I'm going to add some glue to the back of my ribbon. And set that in place right across the bottom of the card. And wrap that around the back. Okay, now we have one more bit of stamping to do. Okay, So I want to add this stamp right between the two hearts up here. Make sure I've got that inked up. And put that in place. There we go. All right. Now then, this piece is ready to go on the inside of my card, and that will finish us off. So let me add some glue to the back of my card here and put that in place on the inside. There we go. And that is our project for the day. I just love this heart die. It's so pretty. And because this designer series paper hearts are so shiny, I don't think we need rhinestones or anything else because there's quite a bit of glitter and the ribbon is shiny. And so I think that pretty well does it. So thank you so much for stopping by my YouTube channel today. I do so appreciate it. And if you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I'd love to be your demonstrator, or you could join my team. I am definitely looking to grow my team. And the join offer right now is absolutely wonderful. $125 worth of product for $99, plus you get your own mini trimmer, plus you get a sampler of some of the designer series paper in the mini catalog, and you get an additional stamp set of your choice. So it's a pretty good deal. It's at least $185 worth of product for $99, which I think is a terrific deal. My prize draw for the month is the bundle of your choice out of the mini catalog. So all you have to do to get yourself in my drawing is to put an order on my website, lbettinger.stampinup.net, or you can get to it through my blog, www.inkandingenuity.com, and I will have this card and all of the instructions in the video again on my blog in a couple days. And so that's it for me. I will be back soon with more cards, more projects, and more tips. Bye.